Hello everyone. Let's look at the Leetcode daily problem given yesterday 2081 sum of k mirror numbers. Before starting this problem, let us look at a motivational quote for today. Knowledge, like air, is vital to life. Like air, no one should be denied it. Alan Moore. Knowledge is necessary for mental and intellectual survival. Without it, we cannot grow, make good decisions, or succeed in life. Education and information should be freely available to all, just like air. Knowledge is not a luxury, it is a basic need for personal and societal progress. So it is very true in our walk of life. So sometimes we might not even notice the importance that uh, helping others or sharing knowledge will eventually create a better society. Like for example, let's say working in a team, if you have a teammate who is much more knowledgeable, you would be much more happy to work in the environment or in the team, because you know that the other person is knowledgeable and maybe you can take some ideas here and there to solve a specific problem through the course, right? So, in some or the other way, we should always create knowledge easily accessible to others, and if we have an opportunity to share, we should share it to the best of our ability. Okay, so let us understand this problem. So, this is an hard type problem, hard mark problem. So, a k mirror number is a positive is a positive integer without leading zeros. A k mirror number is a positive integer. Yeah, a k mirror number is a positive integer without leading zeros that reads the same both forward and backward in base 10 as well as in base k. So we would be given with a number k, and a specific number n in base 10 as well as base k should be palindromic. For example, 9 is a 2 mirror number. So 9 into, let's say, if we want to write 9 in terms of uh, the base 2, so it would be 1001, and this would be palindrome, right? Let's say if we want to uh, see if 4 is the digit 4 in base 10 in base 2 is not palindromic, right? So that's what this example says. These two examples are says. Given the base k and the number n, return the sum of the n smallest k mirror numbers. Okay, so what we are being asked here is, so let's say we are given with these two numbers, right? So we need to check all possible numbers 1 to 5. We need to find all the possible uh, palindromes uh, ranging from 1 to any number or infinity, and we need to find uh, such that there are 5 such palindromic numbers: x1, which is palindromic uh, in base 2 for the k, right? Here k is equals to 2, right? So as we see, 1 is always a palindromic number, and in base 2 we also see 3 being a palindromic number, and these are the 5 numbers that we can sum up, and we can say 25 is our answer. Similarly, in this example, 1, so 2, 3, right? So how do we calculate 8 divided by 3, right? So let's say we want to calculate 3 2s are 6, and 2 will be the remainder, and these are the two values. Similarly, let's say 1 to 1, if we are needing to calculate base of 3, 8 which is in 10 can be written as 2 2 in the base of 3, right? So that's how we represent number in base of 3, right? So if we want to do that, we can just do it this way. So 4s are, and we need to find the remainder of this. So, and 40, this would be 1, and this would give us 40, and now 3 1s are 3 3s are, and this would again give us a remainder of 1, 3 4s, which will be 1 again, and 3 1s. This will have remainder 1. So yeah, we need to go all the way up, and there are 5 digits as we see here: 1 2 3 4 5. So 1 to 1 in terms of base 10 can be represented as 5 ones in base 3, right? And this is a palindrome. Adding all these base 10 numbers will be our, right? Okay, so if we need to approach this problem, we need to have few things. So we need to check for n smallest n smallest palindromic numbers with k, k, and we need to return sum of n, right? So for this we can say, we can start off this way. So let's say we start off from 1, and we range this all the way till adding 10, and we continue to increase, or our length value will be length into 10, which would be like, this would be like 1 10 and 100, so on. Since we need to find, somehow we need to find all the n possible smallest numbers, right? So that would, so that we increase the number of digits at the end, this would put us for the next best palindrome that we can find. So we would do it this way. So we would have another for loop where we will be ranging from length. Let's say if we are initially in the first loop, we range from, and I less than length into 10. So that means, let's say initially if this is the value 1, then we range in this for loop like 1 to 9 and 10 to 99 and 100 to 999. So this would be our reach I plus plus. And here we check palindrome, or we create palindromes with the value I, and we check if is palindromic with p comma k. Right? Let's call this p, and if it is so, then we add this to the number, and also we decrease the count of num, right? And that would be sufficient. Here we are required to build these two functions: create palindrome for I, and also another helper function is palindrome to check for a given palindromic number between with the base of k, right? Okay, so let's also design how we can approach building these two problems, right? These two helper functions. uh, let's say we need to generate in uh, smallest palindromes to some base k, and let's say we look at all possible palindromes from, let's say, 1 to and 1 to 10 firstly. So between 1 to 10 we can only see, let's say for k is equals to 2, then we can have either 1 1 1, which would be 1 only in 2, and 2 will be 1 0, right? So this will be this way. So we can go on. So one of the things to note here is, let's say we calculate from 11 to 99, then we have palindrome such as 11, which is also a palindrome, and 12, which is equivalent to 1 to 1. So yeah, and 11 also might be a palindrome. So we can continue. That's how our for loop works. So let's look at how we are going to create the first function, which is create palindrome. So the create palindrome function is going to take in few things, num, and yeah. So let's say we assign this to num, and while x is greater than 0, we simply take the reminder of each digit, that is at 1 digit, 10 digit, and so on, as long as x is greater than 0. So x mod 10 will give us the last digit. So we simply append it to the end of the digit, right? And at the end, since this is a while loop, this goes on till x is equals to 0. So we might want to remove the last digit as we have added it to the, right? And we can do that with math.floor x by 10. This will cut the last digit, and we can simply return the num, right? So this would be our function. So uh, the example of this one would be, let's say we send in a number of 1, then this would give us 1 1, and let's say we send in 2, then this would give us 1 2 2. So these are the set of things. Another thing to note here is we might also want to consider palindromes which come. So this is an even length. Let's say we want to create a palindrome with odd length. So 1 to 1. This is also odd length palindrome. And look at the length. This is odd length. So if we want to generate such numbers, then we will also need to send in a flag here. Let's say an odd flag indicating that we need to generate an odd length palindrome, and we can just say we clip the if odd, then we can simply clip and only consider these two numbers. The last but one number. So we ignore the zero, 1th digit and only one's place, and only consider the 10th digit, right? So that's something that we can modify this create palindrome function. Okay, so now let's look at the next function, which is palindrome. So we are going to send in two values, num and a base value. So we are also going to have an array of stringified characters of num, and we are going to create a copy of this num so that we do not change the initial argument and keep it separately, and we are going to create the uh, let's say we get a specific number, and we convert it to, let's say we get a number such as 12, we convert it to the base k. So we do that with this part of the loop, where as long as n is greater than 2, then we push a specific character by n modulus of base 2 with 0 character code. So this will give us an array, and every time we are doing this, we also math.floor n divided by base, and this way we get the sp value, which is sp value, which would be something like an array of characters. Let's say, for example, if we say 10 modulus of 2, or 10, we want to uh, let's say an example, let's say we want to convert 10 to the base of question mark 2, then we are going to do it this way. So our sp will contain characters, uh, and all of these will be base of 2, right? So in order for this sp to be filled up, so we are going to calculate each character. Let's say 10 modulus of 2, this will be 0, and 0 character code will be 0, character code of number 0 will be 0, and we divide 10 by 2, which would be 5, and this will be considered for the next while loop, or the next character that we need to add here. So 5 divided by 2 will be 1, and again 5 divided by 2 will be 1, right? And 1 modulus of 2 will be 1 here, and 1 divided by 2 will be 0. So this will be our output, right? So it will be like five will be the remainder, and this will give us 1, 2 power 2, 2 2s are 4, and this will again give us 1, and here the remainder is 0, 2, 2 power 1, and 0. So yeah, so this will be the value 0, 1, 1, and 0. So this operation will return, this while loop will return something like this, which is a base converted of k, and with this we can check if this specific num converted to a base k is palindrome. So we check, in order to check if the specific string is palindrome, then we join all the characters and we check through two while loops, and we say s of I plus plus is not equal to s of j minus minus, and if it is so, return false as not palindrome. Else, if it is true in all the cases, then I will be 0, j will be str.length. Okay, so these are the two components to check is palindromic, right? So return true. And we have already seen the main function, which in our main function we have a for loop. We would be having a for loop which say, let's say, length 1 to length into 10, and next thing is we would have two for loops, one for generating odd palindromes. As we discussed, in when creating palindromes, we also need to generate odd and even palindromes. So we are going to iterate length times and also less than or equal to length into 10, and we are going to generate create palindrome two times and another even palindrome with I, and this will be true since we want all the odd values, and here it would be the same thing here, and create palindrome I comma false. This would be our for loop, and let's go to the Leetcode editor and let's try solving this problem. And as discussed, we are going to have two for loops. So we check if the generated number is a palindrome, then we add the specific palindromic number to the sum. And we decrement the value. Similarly, we will also have another for loop just for having to capture all the even part of the palindromes, right? And this will give us both the palindromes which are part of even and odd. So now it's time for us to start adding the functions. So first one will be create palindrome. if there is an odd flag, then we cut the last digit not to be included as part of palindrome generation. And we generate the palindromic number. By taking each digit and appending it to the num, right? So with each iteration, we also okay. This should be create palindrome. We convert the specific number which is a palindrome, and we generate it to the specific base code that we are asked to convert. With each iteration, we also divide the number by the base value. And we check if the specific converter number converted to the base k is also a palindrome. Uh, so we are creating two pointers just to check from the start and the end. I being the start and j being the ending length of the length, and we check if s of I plus plus is not equal to j minus minus, and we can simply return false, else return true. Right? So this should complete our implementation, and we can return some. Okay, but I guess the solution is getting submitted, but the time limit exceeded is the issue. I see this was an issue where we had to mod this number just to take the last digit and add it to the num that we are returning here while creating a palindrome. Let's try submitting this. This should be fine. Let's see. Okay, this was another mistake where we had to return this as is palindromic true or false, right? So hopefully this should solve this problem. Okay, still doesn't solve this. Okay. Okay, I believe there is another fix that we should be doing here where I should be converting this to a string to form a character code, and this is just to add 0 just to indicate we are making character code of a specific number. Okay, let's try submitting this. Okay, as you can see, the solution gets submitted. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.